What's going on, guys? It's Badger, your boy. We are going to go over the Netflix play that we took today. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I do, or the first thing I did, well, actually, so this one I have to give credit to Tech9. He shouted out Netflix. As soon as he said Netflix, I knew that Netflix had been in this like chop fest for the past, however months. And so as soon as he said that, I just thought that's a great idea. But I did pull up the chart before I jumped in just to see where we are at currently and what I should be looking for. So for credit spreads, right? Selling credit spreads, selling put credit spreads is a pretty bullish sentiment, right? So when we're selling a put credit spread, we're expecting the price to stay above whatever strike we sold. In this case, we don't want to just pick a random number and hope that it works. We come to the charts and we look at the levels for a strong support, right? So as you can see, Netflix has a very big range. It comes up all the way up here, even broke up one time, and bounces consistently off of this level down here, right? This level over here is a 469.74. So with a little deviation, that's like about 470, right? Range up here, 567. Now, we don't touch the top of this range very often, just like we don't touch the bottom of this range very often. And when it does, either way, we end up coming up in this chop, which it's been in since July of last year. So today we are right here in this area, May 25th. So I think I bought it at around like $4.99 or $500. And we can actually come in and look at this on the 1 hour, right? Or we can even, we don't even have to go that far. We can just go 4 hours. So I bought it somewhere in this range, right? And it was pretty close to market open, I think. It didn't really deviate past this. So truly, this opportunity right here at this like 477 touch, that would have been the best opportunity in a long time to buy the spread, right? Because as we're coming down, we want to buy it where it's close to this level here, or maybe it even touches this level. Once we get confirmation that it bumps up, then we enter the spread, because we know that, looking at prior instances, it would go up from there. But that wasn't the case, and I got a little antsy. I just wanted to take the play, and I did jump in this area here, which is fine. Now, a couple of things to expect is that maybe we get rejected here at this line, and maybe it comes back down, tests here again. If it breaks there, tests here, breaks here, maybe even tests, that 470 level that we marked off. But with the credit spread, with selling put credit spreads, as long as the price stays above this level that we have, then we're going to print, right? We're going to make money. Theta is going to kill whoever I sold the bag to, and we'll be good. So this process here was me looking for an entry, looking for a point, right? So like I said, we ideally don't want to take it here. Ideally, we want to catch it on a move like this, where we start finding confirmation, then we, as it retests, then we jump in here and ride it all the way up, so we can sell, get profits pretty quick, pretty safe. But I caught it kind of in the middle, as you can see, middle-ish. But it is what it is. Like I said, I kind of know that it was a bad entry. I really wanted to try a credit spread, but this is how we would go about finding entries. You'd find things that were on downtrends, about to test a good support. So let's look at now what we would have pulled up here in what we use as Tastyworks, right? So what I did, obviously, we have 470 strike, right? It's the first thing I looked for, because of this strong support, right? That's exactly why I picked that 470 strike. And truly, you want to give yourself a little bit of room So what I'm really looking at as a support was this line here, right? Which we sit at this line a lot more frequently than we touch at this bottom. This bottom's like a strong safety net. This is the actual one that, you know, if you're super risky, this 475 or 477, if they have that strike, would have been, you know, that first go-to. But we want to give ourselves some leeway to where if it does break down below that, we're still going to be okay, which is why I went with the 470. So we look at the 470, and we're going to buy one under that strike, right? So what it does is normally if we were to sell just a put by itself, let's say we sold this here. As you can see, our max loss is $46,095, right? I do not even have that in this account. I just opened this account with like $500 to try a spread. Definitely don't want to do that. I mean, sure, you know, I'll be collecting I'll be collecting, you know, $900 or whatever that somebody would buy it at, whatever that ends up being. But definitely do not like that loss if I'm wrong. So what you do to mitigate this loss, or to, you know, minimize that loss, is you buy a strike that's right under it, right? So now, as you can see, our max loss is 360. And that max loss is if you let this ride all the way to expiration, which for this instance, so when we're picking spreads, we want to make sure that we have time on our side, right? We don't want to buy weekly. It turns around, you know, one big dip and you're done, right? So we buy some time. We avoid these W's, right? These W's are weeklies. So we avoid the weeklies, and we want to aim for about, you know, 35 DTE or more. So if you're wondering, well, why didn't you get this one? It's because this only has 24 days of expiration, right? So we wanted a little bit more expiration. That way we can collect theta, we can collect that profit, we can sell it with time left over. So if, for instance, I have this July 16th, right? So if we get to about June 18th and, you know, I'm at 50 or 70% profit, whatever profit I'm at, that you know, I've collected at that point, I can then close out this contract with a few weeks remaining and not have to worry about, you know, getting hit by big dips or anything like that. So 35 plus is what we look for. And we're not trying to get into like 206. We're just, you know, 35, I'd say 35 to like 60 DTE is probably like an ideal range. So for us, this ended up being 52 DTE. So we're back here. Okay, so now that we have our sold put and our purchased put, max loss is 360. Max profit at this point in time, whenever the market closed, was 140. Now, what we want to look for here is about a 1/3 rate of return, right? Or like 33%. So 360 times 33% is about 118. So that would be a little bit more than our target, which is fine. Now keep in mind, we were talking about expirations and things like that. This max profit that you get, this is going to be what's credited to your account should we do this right now, right? So if we were to execute this trade, which we can't because it's, you know, past market open, we would be credited this 140, okay? And that would be the max profit. So keep in mind, you're not going to get the 140 unless you let this contract go to expiration, okay? Because the way that you would close a credit spread that you're selling is to buy it. So if I was to open this instantaneously, right? Let's say the time got stuck and no price fluctuations changed or anything happened. Market was frozen. If I sold this and then bought it back instantaneously, it would go, I would get a credit of 140 and then I would get a debit of 140 because I had to buy it back to close it. So what happens when we sell a credit spread is as time goes by, the contracts start to decay and they lose value, right? As they lose value, I'm able to buy the contract to close it at a cheaper price, right? So if I bought it or if I sold it and I got credited $140. As time decays the contract, I can buy to close it at, let's say, 130, right? So at the end of it all, I come out with a $10 profit. So that's how the profit's going to work. So keep in mind, you might be thinking, okay, well, that kind of sucks. I'm only getting, not even all of the 140, but you have to consider what we're doing here. So normally, what you would do is you would buy a call here, hope that it, skyrockets, but, maybe, let's see, maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe you buy a call here, it comes up, and then boom, now you're negative, right? And obviously it's super easy to gauge, like, oh, okay, that's a very strong support. And it's not as easy to gauge, okay, well, if I buy here, is it going to come here? Is it going to come here? Is it going to come here, right? Like, we take some of the guesswork out of it, and we just say, hey, as long as we stay above this price, no matter what, the decay for the contract that we sold is going to allow us to buy it back cheaper, and thus giving us a profit, right? You're not having to deal with, like, as much of that crap as you would have if you were just, buying calls or whatever. So another thing we want to look at that meets our criteria. So number one is we have to look at the charts, get a good range, right? Get a good range that it's not likely it's going to hit. So we'll look at out of money percentage, right? So the percent that it's going to, be out of the money. So this one, 71%, perfect. We want to look for at least a 70% here. Come over to POP percentage. That's what is it? Percent of profit, or like your probability of profit. There we go. So there's a 71% chance that we end profitable in this trade, in selling this credit spread, which is perfect. We want to have, the higher the number, the better. Obviously, the more risky, you may have a better return, but at what cost, right? If this is to get passive income, we want to make sure we're getting passive income, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So let's say we just bought, right at the strike at 500, and their price right now is 501. So if it goes down $1, if it goes down $2, it's in the money, right? So here, max profit 250, max loss 250. And let's see what the POP was. So 50% chance, right? And this is 50 DTE, so anything can happen, but we have a 50% chance that this is going to work out for you. I don't like to chance things to a coin flip, but if you do, then, ban. So anyway, we come back over here, 470, 465. This is the sweet spot. We have nice out of money percentage. On this side, we have good probability of profit. And this meets our ratio of the targeted, 1/3 or 33% of the max loss, as a profit target for us. There is a couple of other things we can go into as far as like looking at the curve, going into like an analysis of our strike and all these things. But for the gist of this, I just wanted to keep it relatively simple. So that way we could, just look at credit spreads, how to sell them, and the idea of what I was thinking about when we were looking at this play today, and what made me join it, and what to look for, on an ideal move, which would be, closer to down here. But hope this helps, guys. Please, if you have any questions, let me know, and I can break things down again or in a different way. But thanks for watching, guys.